Yeah. What's up, Chad?
On Chad.
Yo, what's good? Good to see all of you. It's been a little bit of time.
Welcome back.
Bud. Yeah.
It has been a long time.
I know.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Welcome to Comics and Crypto, your source for everything collectible. And we're here with NFT Pirates. Yo, buddy.
Yes.
It's so good to hear your voice. It's going to be a fun day.
I know. It feels good to be back. Like I said, I take these casual breaks, but I'm always on the periphery. I'm always waiting to dive back in. I'm still keeping up with the space.
Nice.
So appreciate the invite and looking forward to getting into some deep combos with you guys.
Yeah, likewise. Okay, first question. Have you seen Wicked and what is your favorite song?
Let me start with the wicked questions here.
My wife went and she told me that it was unbelievable.
Dude.
So I mean, that's all I can say.
I've seen it twice.
You seen it twice
I've
already?
never,
Really?
I've never seen a musical twice before in theater. And this one, wow, I was pretty blown away. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. Kevin definitely had, so I went and saw it with Kevin Moore, as a friend of ours, and he doesn't like musicals, and he went and saw it, and he went and saw, listened to the soundtrack for 3 days afterwards, and like watched The Wizard of Oz with his girlfriend or fiance, and then went and saw it again with Kevin Loader, and then it was, I enjoyed it. Kevin definitely had his thoughts, but overall I think he liked it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good movie with a lot of like fun like musical numbers.
Yeah.
For me, it was more just like little technical things.
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of like, because I'm not a musical guy. I don't know musicals very well. I don't know the Broadway show at all. So this is my only introduction to Wicked and all that. So I had a few like story things that I was very curious about.
Yeah.
But like it's a fun movie. It's really a lot of fun with the musical numbers and everything. And like more, I actually started listening to the Broadway soundtrack musical because I was like, oh, this is actually really good. It's really catchy.
I saw the musical and I was like, it was cool, but the movie, wow. And I'm sure we'll appreciate the musical more now after seeing it.
Yeah, I need to go see it. My sister is obsessed, and she loves Ariana Grande. She's a huge fan, so
I will say
I think she's seen it at least twice. And yeah,
huge Ariana Grande fan.
She loves it. Yeah. Shout out Jess. She's never going to see this, but
classic. Well, we have a lot of awesome topics to go over today, and make sure everybody out there subscribe and smash that like button, right? Is that what it is? The thumbs up?
Subscribe, like, do all the things, all the social media thingies.
Yeah.
All of them.
We're going to go over topics per usual, but in the meantime, definitely write us some questions in the comments. Anything collectible related, physical, digital collectibles, anything you want. Just ask us.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
Any questions? Do you need help with your TV and how to reset it? Let us know.
Yeah.
I used to work in IT. I might be able to help with that, actually.
He's actually very helpful with that. It's true. We'll start off with some giveaways. We're doing a couple of giveaways right now. We're going to mention all of them, and they're all actually in the details below. So if you're interested in getting involved in any of these giveaways, definitely hit. Big shout out to Bill. Appreciate you, Bill. That's so nice.
Hey, Bill.
Thanks,
Merry Christmas, brother. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Happy holidays. That's so nice of you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Bill.
So we're giving away this Amazing Spider-Man 60 or 59. This is an original VeVe cover created by the one and only Frank Miller. Yeah. This was given out at New York Comic-Con. Super sick cover. And we're giving away a package of this. And it's been given away worldwide. And big shout out to our partner on this giveaway, Jaweedy. He's such an awesome guy. We had him on our last Q&A episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely give it a watch. He's an awesome guy doing really cool things in the cannabis space and Web3 related. So very cool stuff for sure.
That's awesome.
We're giving away this Batman Legacy Cowl, physical and digital. We're partnered with Candy Digital, and we're giving away this awesome comic. So make sure to hit the link down below. This is really cool. Did you guys go for this drop at all? Chad, have you been involved in Candy Digital?
Yeah, I'm still definitely involved, man. I'm loving what they're doing. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, interested to see how many of these end up getting minted.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Because it goes on until I think mid-January. And definitely everyone out there, make sure to be on lookout for the December 26th drop. Flash Comics #1 is dropping, which is easily a top 10 grail for DC. Massive grail. It's the first appearance of Flash and Hawkman in the Golden Age. and that comic is probably worth 2 million plus. And I think, you know, it's definitely a huge opportunity there. People may overlook that comic. So definitely keep an eye out for that drop on December 26th, the day after Christmas. Perfect timing, huh? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's almost like they planned it that way.
Yeah, almost like the plan. Christmas came late, sort of. So big shout out to Candy Digital for partnering with us on this one. And also, we're giving away this graded Lion King cassette. Yeah.
Wow.
In celebration of the 30th anniversary of the Lion King, 30 years. My goodness. 30th anniversary of the Lion King. We're giving away this graded cassette of the Lion King, Kenny for the Love Tonight, with our partners, Rewind Grading. Big shout to Rewind. We have a really cool video being released soon that shows how amazing their cases are. Yeah. Super legit. So definitely big shout to them, and get involved in this giveaway. You can get involved in any of these giveaways by clicking the links down in the details below. And I thought this would be kind of cool to show. And so in honor of the giveaway, Ranker, really cool Instagram account that I've been following and Twitter account. They posted this recently. They out of 622,000 votes, The Lion King came out as the #1 Disney animated film of all time.
Wow,
which is remarkable. I was surprised not to see Frozen on that list. So we definitely probably have a lot of late millennials or early millennials on this list. Yeah. There's no film under below 1983.
Right.
Oh, Little Mermaid, 1989. Yeah, there we go.
Moana.
Oh, Moana's on there. Yeah. There you go. Okay, you got a little mixture there. That's pretty cool.
I'm interested to see how far ahead Lion King is from Aladdin, or some of these are compared to the others.
Right.
Yeah, pretty awesome. And also, we had to give a shout out to our good friends 24/7 Comics. They're giving away this 9.9 graded comic signed by the creators, including Daniel Wu. Really awesome comic. Yeah. And I believe Sean Chen as well. Sean Chen. Yeah, and Sean Chen.
Yeah, he's
so cool. So cool. A 9.9 graded book of Evermind #1, which is also available on VeVe. So to enter this, you just need to sign up for the newsletter. Go to 247comics.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you're automatically eligible to be entered into this giveaway and potentially future giveaways. So
as somebody who is subscribed to the newsletter, I read it whenever they send it out, and it's great. Highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, they're very
also
awesome.
Amazing giveaway. So
yeah, super cool. Yeah, they're great guys. Great guys. Lego is releasing the most expensive set ever. $1,000 for this Lego set of the Death Star. I thought you guys would appreciate that.
Wow. How big is it?
I mean, it's got to be pretty big, right? I would think it's pretty big.
Yeah.
I couldn't see any details on the size. It comes out it comes out next year. So they've released some pretty big size ones.
Yeah. It looks like it's the Death Star 2. Like the one from Return of the Jedi.
Man, it's wild how much Legos go for. I mean, I didn't realize how much people were paying for them back in the early 90s and early 2000s. It's pretty remarkable. Legos is killing it, and they're still most popular than ever.
One of my good friends who lives in Denver, he's a big Lego guy. I mean, he'll buy usually 2 sets of everything whenever he goes to the store and buys stuff. So he'll build one and then just keep the other one sealed in the box. He's super into it.
Wow. I was just in Denver actually, and ended up buying a bunch of Pokemon cards and things from the various collectible stores there. It seems to be I don't know. It had a lot of memorabilia and it seemed as though a lot of people from Colorado were big on that stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a big scene for that out here. Did you go to Mile High Comics?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Which is the one right beside the oh, that's crazy. Yeah. That's
a super well-known store. Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought there was a lot of part of my language, a lot of junk in there too. There was some amazing things, but I was also
there's some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Mile High is incredible, and they actually have some big recorded sales as well. I think they acquired a bunch of really old comics, and they were able to sell some of them, and I think it was Action Comics 1 and Superman 1. It's actually pretty incredible. Yeah. Yeah. The bull run is definitely on. Chad's back, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I appreciate it, man. I timed it perfectly.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. That's awesome. And the Superman trailer.
Yeah.
So we released a video video earlier today. Kevin and I broke down the Superman trailer, watched it live. I cried like a baby. It got me super emotional. I got all the feels watching that thing. Yeah. I think pretty much what we could sum up is crypto is going to be the most named dog in 2025.
Oh yeah, that breed especially is going to skyrocket.
Chad, did you watch it?
I did. I actually really liked it. Yeah, it was. It had a bit of a different take. It looked really like high quality. It seemed different than what we've seen in the past. Like it wasn't all gimmicky. Like it seemed. I don't know. It seemed really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we're Spencer. Did you see it as well?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Oh, okay. Yeah,
I've been out all day. I just got back.
You gotta check it out. It's great. It's great.
He's been enjoying the world.
Recently, James Gunn did an interview and he talked about whether or not people are tired of superhero films, and he said, "No, people. I don't believe people are. They're just tired of bad stories." No. He said that I feel bad for a lot of these filmmakers, these directors who are going in and producing films with terrible scripts who have no ending. And it's and you kind of feeling that. You see that. And it's starting to weigh on people. And for him to make that statement and say, like, when we produce content, I have to approve every single script. I will approve, and I get the final say. Like that to me screamed confidence. And I am crazy bullish on DC's future, and especially in the collectible space. Man, they're very, very undervalued in my opinion, especially the Grail comics, which kind of goes back to DC, and especially Candy, you know? Yeah. Super exciting. Really exciting. But yeah, the trailer was a lot of fun. I'm super optimistic. And it comes out on July 11th, which is my birthday.
Yeah.
So dude, I'm so stoked. Yeah, I was stoked because when the poster comes out, I would love to get one signed by James Gunn. It never happened. But it says July 11th on the poster, so that's so epic.
That's
yeah.
That's
yeah,
so
and
cool.
Superman is my favorite superhero, so this is like dream come true for sure. Okay, this is an amazing story. I had to share this with you guys. So I believe this is game 1 of the World Series, Dodgers versus Yankees. This little boy was told by his parents that he's going to see the dentist. That wasn't true. They actually took him to a World Series baseball game. Doing so, he actually caught Freddie Freeman's grand slam, walk-off grand slam, which was actually the first walk-off grand slam in MLB history. Well, it just sold on SCP auction for $1.56 million, making it the 3rd most expensive baseball ever sold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. Incredible story. I love stories like this. I just, the best.
I should have said that guy on the back on the left looks so drunk.
Really?
The first thing I noticed
was like,
he looks so much over to me.
He does.
Yeah, but it's been really remarkable to see the collectible space, especially sports collectibles, and seeing what this stuff is selling for. You know, I think that the Golden Auction Show has definitely turned a lot of heads and educated people on what these things can be worth. Mm-hmm. And it was really fun to see the Ohtani baseball when that 50-50 baseball sold, because the guy who caught it, we've talked about this a lot. Chad, I'm not sure if you're up to date. Have you followed that at all, the sale of that baseball, the 50-50 baseball?
I actually haven't. Yes, I'm excited more. Yeah.
So Shohei Ohtani, one of the best baseball players in the league, plays for the Dodgers. He's the first player in baseball history to do 50 stolen bases and 50 home runs in 1 year. First player to ever do that. He had 50 stolen bases, but he didn't hit 50 home runs yet until one of the last games of the season, which he did. And a guy caught the ball, went to the Dodgers organization immediately, taken by security, and they offered him $300,000. And he said no. He said, no, thank you. I'm good. And it's so funny. When that happened, I told myself 2 things are going to happen. There's going to be a private sale for over $1 million, or he's taking it straight to Golden Auctions. And sure enough, he took it straight to Golden Auctions. They put up an auction a couple days later, advertised it like crazy. It was on for about 3 weeks on auction, and it ended up selling for over $4 million. Wow. And and what's crazy is that we were curious, like, who bought it? Who bought that ball for over $4 million? I thought it was probably going to be somebody from Japan, because Ohtani is massive in Japan because he's Japanese. And it turned out it was a Taiwan investment firm. And that made us go back and think about, like, wow, why would they buy that? Well, it's incredible marketing for them, because now everyone knows who they are. It goes back to the Todd McFarlane story about how he bought Mark McGuire's 70th home run baseball and he was going all over the news talking about it. In return, he was also talking about McFarlane Toys, and everyone was talking about him and McFarlane Toys. And he said, I got millions of dollars worth of advertisement because of that. So it's very interesting to see these firms come in and making these purchases for that reason. Also, it's probably sentimental to them, but wow, double value, huh?
It's so fascinating. What an interesting take, because if you think about getting that kind of publicity, it would have cost them maybe $15 to $20 million worldwide.
Exactly.
So if anything, it's like a pay cut, and then you get an actual thing that could be worth even more in the future, right? So like, it's a really smart tactic, and a lot of people probably just don't even think that way. So that's a great point. Yeah.
And depending on how the ball is used, it could potentially even be a write-off for the company, which is like something else to think about too. It could be a business expense.
It's like a quadruple win.
Yeah. It's so smart. Smart. And then put it up in your firm and have people come and visit you, and you can show it off like right in your office. Like, you can't even want to flex.
It's so true. And if you're an investment firm, on top of that, you want to look like you have cash to burn, because it's going to give that confidence in the person investing in you, being like, well, these guys are making a ton of money. They can spend $4 million on a baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think we lost you, Chad.
I still see him.
Oh, no voice. I think I think audio's out.
Oop.
No, not hearing you. Well, we'll continue.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, want to go over this real quick. This is a nice collectible showcase in celebration of the holidays. This is something that we actually purchased on eBay recently. Well, not recently, about a year ago. And this is a second print VHS sealed of Gremlins. And why second print? Why would you want to buy a second print of this VHS? Well, they are incredibly rare. They're very rare. In fact, a first print of this tape is sold for $15,000 on Heritage Auctions, and a second print has sold as high as $5,000. We were able to purchase this one for $100 on eBay and Snipe It, which was awesome. We saw it on eBay. It was an auction. We put quite a bit more because of the auction. We didn't think it was going to sell for that low.
Yeah, we were expecting to get it for a lot higher. Yeah.
We got super lucky, super lucky. We sent it into CGC. It came back in 9.2, which is a higher grade than the tape that sold on Heritage Auctions for $5,000.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So yeah, really, and also we're just a huge fan of this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was really cool to get this one
and to get it for that price too.
Yeah, super fun. We'll have Chad back in a second. But yeah, I love Gremlins so much. It's such a great holiday classic, and what I love about it blends the festive fun of dark and humor, and it has amazing creatures, and it's definitely a film that captures both the chaos and charm of the holiday season, which I love so much. Super fun. I think we had some VHS questions earlier, which we'll definitely get to everybody's questions. In the meantime, definitely make sure to keep writing those questions out in the comments. We're going to answer those soon. And also, we're going to be giving away a VeVe digital collectible towards the end of this stream. So make sure to hang out with us for a bit, because we're going to give away a VeVe digital collectible. It's donated by VeVe. Big shout out to VeVe Digital Collectibles for the donation.
Shout out to VeVe.
Yeah, big shout out to VeVe. And they'll be transferring the collectible personally to you.
Nice.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I had to bring it up. I have to bring it up.
I mean, yeah.
We've seen the absolute. Actually, I want to post this quick. My uncle had a small part in Gremlins too, so these movies are a staple of my childhood.
Oh,
that is so cool.
I wonder what was your part that you're talking about.
Actually, so big shout out to Mr. Grip. I actually saw a comment on Twitter as well. He mentioned that he worked on the Superman film for a couple weeks.
Oh,
yeah. Definitely
awesome.
Shoot us a DM, man. I'd love to talk to you about that more detail. That was so cool. Thank you for commenting on that. That was awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah, he said very positive things about the actor who plays Superman. So it was very cool to see that.
Nice.
Yeah. What's up, Granison? Yo.
Hey, Granison.
Hey, yo.
How you doing?
Yeah, so back to unicorn fart dust. I am officially a unicorn fart duster. I've definitely.
Is that what we're calling ourselves?
Yeah.
Got it? All right.
I got a UFD. Officially unicorn fart duster.
Yeah.
This is cool. When they went into the control room and the gremlin jumped out, he controlled the gremlins like the puppets. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
super cool.
That's
awesome.
super fun. That's super fun.
I'm gonna keep that in mind when I watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So what did I come into?
Yeah, welcome.
I was hoping to hopefully we'll get Chad back soon. I think I'm going to circle back on this topic because I really want to talk about
Get his thoughts on this.
Yeah. Let's see here.
What else we got? What else we
can we talk about? What else we can talk about?
You got like 6 more there.
You got a bunch of tabs. You got a lot of tabs, buddy.
They're all involve Chad.
The bounty doesn't involve Chad.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. Okay. Yeah. So we claimed one of our bounties. We put a bounty out for Sabretooth 1977. We had a bounty out for all 3 of the variants for the common, uncommon, and rare. Mm-hmm. And someone landed the rare 1977, which is the publishing year of the first appearance comic book, and it posted it for 1,500 gems, and we were able to purchase it. So big shout to the collector who claimed it and gave us the opportunity to purchase it.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it was really
we've
cool.
gotten to claim 3 or 4 bounties now. I think
three bounties. I think out of like the 10 that we posted or 11. Yeah.
So
it was fun. Yeah. Yeah. It feels good to actually start getting these bounties.
I know. Yeah.
We had a hard time for a bit. I'm like, okay,
we're like, oh, nobody wants these.
And it's totally fair because either people want to, collectors want to keep it for themselves, or they are looking for more value, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I will say that we actually been pretty spot on with some of our price points. Yeah. Chad.
Hey.
Oh,
there he is.
Sorry, man. It's my Mac is not used to streaming apparently, and it's just rusty like me, so it just automatically just dropped all my audio connections were like just not even available on StreamYard. All of them. Just like blank. So I just did a classic restart of the computer.
No worries. We were just talking about how we claimed one of our bounties for the Sabretooth 1977. So that was that was a publishing year of the first appearance comic book. And so big shout out to the collector who nailed this one. Really awesome to have this one in our collection. And we also put a bounty out for this weekend's drop, the 1942 of Owl, which is the only character collectible with a mint number 1942, which is the last mint number of the Owl collection, but also the year of the film's release. So very cool opportunity for us because we're huge fans of this film, and we'd love to have a chance to own this one. So if anybody hits it and wants to sell it to us, hit us up. We'd love to buy it from you.
Wow.
So,
all right. So
back to the unicorn fart dust.
Yeah.
Chad, have you been up to date on this?
Man, I'm so jealous of all the fart dusters.
See? Yeah, he gets it. I was calling us fart dusters. Yeah. We're just saying that we're officially fart dusters. We've jumped on the wagon for this wild ride. We saw Fart Coin jump up to $1 billion market cap. It's at $1.11 right now.
Yeah.
It's got $1 billion supply. It's insane. Holy. Meanwhile, everything else is tanking in the market. We're seeing these meme coins take off. But what's really fun about this specific coin is the history behind it. It was started by this YouTuber named Ron. Goes by Ron's Basement, and he's an investor in gold and silver. And he has a YouTube channel and he has sponsors. It's really fun to see his personality and talk about actual physical, stuff of value. And then he criticized cryptocurrency, and he said, this is an absolute joke. It's not real. I am going to create a coin called Unicorn Fart Dust. And if anybody out there wants to be a part of it, be my guest. And sure enough, everybody wanted to be a part of it. And I think a lot of it is the D-Gen saying, you know what, this cryptocurrency is something, and we're going to show you that it means something. And this has completely turned his head upside down. I mean, he's completely flipped a 180, and he's very excited about this. He's doing live streams talking about it, and it's fun. It's super fun to see this in a healthy way. We're seeing a lot of rug pulls happening over the past few months, and it's been really sad to see that. Yeah. So seeing somebody who's actually genuine and excited about it, who has some credentials in the especially on YouTube, has his own content channel. We've seen a lot of awesome memes, and he's growing a community behind this, which is something that he talked about and he never really thought much of, is how important community is in Web3. and it's really fun to see that. Big shout to Boss Logic for creating this one. So good. And you have other people who are calling him the Roaring Kitty of the Bull Cycle for Web3.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. He's a mastermind. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think part of me thinks he knew exactly what he was doing from the start, and he knew the psychology would work. And I don't know, but Sean, I don't know if you heard this, but I'm pretty sure that he sold. He did talk about it, and he sold. He said he's been very transparent about what he sold and how much he sold. He did sell some, but he has a lot left that he just plans to ride out. Nice. Oh, cool.
So he's definitely going along with the ride for sure. But there's been people who put in like $300 and have cashed out like $3 million.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely wallets that have shown that.
It's what is it currently at? What, like 220 million market cap?
Yeah, it's around 220 million. I haven't checked.
I got in with $50 at 10 million.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I sold like half. I think at like 100 million or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I pulled out like 200 of the $50 I put in. I pulled out 250, and then the rest is just riding.
Yeah.
Wow.
It makes to $1 billion. It's not life-changing money, but it's not bad for $50.
It's just really fun to see where this is going. The story behind it. He seems like a really cool dude, and I think and he's a boomer. And I've seen a lot of hashtags for the boomer. Which is great. I love that.
I agree with Spencer though. I totally think it was like reverse psychology where he knew what he was doing, because he's like, I had that thought. If you cash out being like, oh, I never imagined this in my wildest dreams, people like encourage you to cash out.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we got to start having this mentality. You know?
Seriously, dude.
Which one are we going to start?
The silent but deadly coin. I'm telling you, it's gonna go big.
It's true.
It's wild, and especially now we're starting to see he posted this. This apparently was something that he had on his live stream, and he's selling it on eBay right now, and it ends in 15 hours, and it's at $3,600. And it's got 39 bids. I mean, you're getting a lot of big fans of this guy. And he's doing everything in the right way. You know, he's been very transparent. He's very honest about what he's been selling and holding, and his belief in all this. So.
Ron's basement art.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said that all the proceeds go to his wife.
That makes sense.
Which I love. Yeah, that's so good. But yeah, anyways, it's going to be fun to see where this goes. I mean, who knows at this point, right? I mean, we're seeing Fartcoin to go to $1.20. Yeah. And it has I think 46,000 holders, and this has about just past over 30.
Wow.
I don't know. It's fun. It's crazy. It's wild. But definitely signs of the bull market on its way, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or I don't know, blind euphoria. We'll see.
Yeah. And transitioning back to the digital collectibles, VeVe is dropping the first Bambi collection. This is a very cool collection. We mentioned earlier that we have a bounty out for the owl. There's 1,942 mints, which represents the year that the film was released. And then we have Flower, very cool. Uncommon, Bambi, first appearance. That's going to be a popular one. Only 742 editions. Pretty incredible. Thumper, ultra rare, 342 editions. Very cool. And then Feline, Bambi's girlfriend, only 118 editions.
Crazy.
Now, what's really fun about this drop, have you guys broken down the mechanics or seen the mechanics for this thing? They're doing something a little different. They're actually giving everyone the opportunity simultaneously after the drop. You have a chance, whatever collectible you get on the drop, you can actually mint or craft a free base, a collectible for your character. Yeah, so it's for free. But you have to buy it in the store. You can't buy it in the secondary and then craft it. So that's the catch, which is smart because it's going to entice people. You're getting basically a 2-for-1. So here's the owl with 1,942 editions. Then you have Flower's base, 1,342. Here's Bambi's base, 742. You have Thumpers. And then you have Feline's, which is only 118 as well. So if you end up landing Feline on the drop, man, that's pretty awesome because you also have a chance to craft for an extremely rare base, which will also sell for probably a very high premium. So very fun.
Do you have to spend any MCP points in order to craft?
I don't think so. No.
Nice.
Yeah. There's
Right.
no crafting needed. So a different change of pace for sure by VeVe, which is fun to see.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a great idea. I agree.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, Alex.
What can we craft with unicorn fart coin?
Uh,
A fart.
Oh, wouldn't that be a gas? VeVe Digital Collectibles, thanks for joining us.
Let's go.
Big shout out to VeVe. Thank you for joining us. And also a big shout out to VeVe for donating a digital collectible today for our giveaway. Make sure to stay tuned for that towards the end of the stream. We're going to be giving away a VeVe Digital Collectible with a question that we're going to come up with on the spot. So yeah, very excited.
Really need to come up with those questions first.
Usually I try to tie it to the live stream, but we'll see.
Oh yeah, so somebody who's been here, can
Yeah,
help
that's
with it, and somebody who's actually engaging,
Yeah. Also,
Whoa.
speaking of NFT Pirates,
Hey.
recently
Hey.
Chad created a video of the top 10 VeVe Grails with over 300 responses. We got our top 10 out of 300 responses. It's really cool. Chad, I'd love to hear your breakdown of the process and your results.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing this. Yeah, so I just kind of did this for fun. I was like just curious as what people thought of the top 10 grails on VeVe were. I kept it very broad, and I just sent out like a post on X, and I probably had like at least 50 to 60 responses of people listing their grails, and then I just as best as I could put all of those responses in a survey. There was I kind of talk about the limitations initially. Like there's still some things I would have liked to included after the fact, but because VeVe is getting so big, it's becoming exceptionally difficult to be like include everything without this survey being exceptionally onerous and just exhausting where like nobody wants to take it. So I was like, okay, let's look at a good 50. So unanimously across the entire board, 80% of people thought partners was like the number one grail. Which I think reflects a lot of the things that we talked about. Spider-Man Secret Rare came number 2, being the first Marvel NFT and obviously the most popular superhero in 58 countries. Then, of course, the Heart of Silicon Secure, the Todd, the Batman was another big one, and Miles Morales, of course. And I can keep going down the line, but they all have some pretty good justification. Like even the VeVe OG logo, like just all that stuff that you guys get in person and all the utility from it. I'm sure that will continue to kind of move up the ranks as time progresses. But it was just a really interesting exercise. And it was also interesting because some of these edition sizes are really big. And I would have thought that, something like a Vader UR, a Superman, or even a Todd might have went into first spot because more people own them. So I think it's quite altruistic that a lot of the VeVe community is keeping honest with themselves and still putting the ones that we think are all the most prized up at the top. And of course, this is subject to change. I think like as we saw, like even the David Yu drop.
Right?
Yeah. A lot of people are favoring that. So, but it was fun. And it was nice to see the comics in there too. It was nice to see what the perspective was on the comics and collectible mix, because generally you just have like collectibles or comics. I don't see it often where they're like mixed together. So it was kind of cool to see that. And there's some surprises too, like AF-15. I was like, well, damn, shouldn't that be like top 5 or like things like that? But again, it's a small sample size. It's not like your Disney movie sample size of 622,000. There was 326 responses. So, I'm sure another 300 responses would have changed this up entirely. But I think it was enough to draw insight as to what people are really valuing.
Yeah. Yeah. I say, none of these really surprised me.
Yeah. Totally.
Right. I wasn't surprised either. Like exactly. Like it's almost like if you put a gun to my head and you said write the list, and I would probably put these.
Probably come up with this list.
Yeah.
I will say it feels pretty validating to see the top 3 that are on our rankings list are on the Grail list as well.
Yeah.
So we got AF-15, Marvel Comics 1, and FF1. So that's really cool to see that.
Right, and it could be everybody just looking at your list and going like, that makes sense. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
What did they say?
Exactly.
I don't know if you know, Chad, but actually, so FF1 recently had an auction. So there's an auction on Heritage, and then a bunch of comics, Big Grail comics, and FF1 has 2 9.6 grades in the CGC census, and those are the highest graded comic books. They've never sold publicly, and one of the 9.6 is actually sold on Heritage. And what's crazy is that it only ended up selling for around $2 million.
Wow.
Yeah, which I think, you know, it's really just because we're in a massive bear run, and at the time, especially that moment in time, it wasn't a good time to liquidate and sell things. I mean, I still firmly believe that if that comic sold during the bear run last year, a bull run last year, or 2021, it would have sold for probably 8 digits. I think it probably would have sold that. Yeah.
Especially at a 9.6, right?
Yeah.
I mean, holy, like you don't even see that in the ancient comic book collecting world for something like Grand. So
not many. I mean, Fantastic Four 1's a pretty popular comic, and it does have a lot of graded books, you know, for a comic of that time. And there's no 9.8s and only 2 9.6s. At this point in time, you'd think that more would pop up, considering the value of it. I mean, the floor of that comic is probably around $5,000, so like a 0.5 grade. Yeah, but even AF-15, same thing, right? The floor is around 15,000, or I think around there, or 10 to 15,000, and the highest grade is also 9.6. There's no 9.8s of AF-15. So, yeah, pretty remarkable. But I would have at least waited till a trailer drops. That's typically when you want to, the hype comes up, right? Just wait for a trailer to drop, and then I will say, like, for
it's a good trailer.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that from a lot of people that sell comic books. They just wait for the hype. Wait for the hype. And Marvel hasn't really had a lot of hype right now.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a good opportunity because, man, I will say that Fantastic Four 1 is kind of like their last chance to really come through with a film that's going to do well, because it's been a while since we've seen a quality film from Marvel, and I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I think they're still like holding on to those heroic days and just expecting that, like, because people love some of the first ones so much that they can just drop anything now and people are going to keep running back. But, you know, quality has to be maintained and it has to be, you know, repeated, right? Like, you can't just expect your fan base just to be there for you through everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm currently way more likely to go see a DC film in theaters than a Marvel film. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Crazy.
Never
like
said that
3-4 years ago, never would have thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
You know,
Right? It's crazy. Yeah. And to Chad, I'm curious, like, I know we talked about over the past few years, we've talked about, you know, scarcity versus popularity. You know, we've seen a lot of really scarce collectibles drop on the app over the past couple of years now. And, you know, at the time we were seeing insane edition runs for a lot of collectibles and comics, but we're still seeing the same comics in Grails that we've been talking about for the past few years. Do you think that cycle could change over time?
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Like, so I'm still in the very macro, most popular will win the day, because I think, like, you know, of course, you know, if we have another partner statue that has like 50 editions and it's like diamond or whatever, like, that still might outweigh, you know, the popularity of partners over time. But I think, like, people eventually are going to look at the macro lens. And I keep saying this, it's similar to like the real world, right? Like when they take Hulk FA from a comic and, like, you know, it's going for, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, where another comic is 50 cents despite it having like 100 editions. And so, like, you know, when you look at the equation, I think if there's something hugely significant, for instance, like Marvel Comics #1, it's the first, you know, Marvel comic on the blockchain, and then on top of that, it reflects the first physical comic. So I think that's such nice poetry there, that I could imagine, you know, give it 15 years. These are the big questions people are going to ask. You know, they're not going to be as interested in the 100 edition comic book that, like, barely anybody knows about. So in my perspective, I you know, don't get me wrong, scarcity always will play a factor. But I think anything that has macro significance, like again, like partners, like Marvel 1, etc., I think that they're going to do huge things, and not just on VeVe, but like in anything, right? Like on other platforms, like, you know, even Candy Digital with, like, you know, Superman #1, and, like, you know, even some of the other platforms right now, like, that are kind of outside that licensed digital collectible space. Like, there's some things that to me just will really stick out. And so I think that's the question people should be asking themselves, like, you know, and in 10, 15 years, when almost everything is digital, and I'm not even exaggerating. There'll probably be trillions of edition numbers. You know, like at that point, what's whatever it is, 7,500 Todds, or what's, you know, let's just say like 250 editions of Amazing Fantasy 15, when the whole world right now is trying to get AF 15 in the real world. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, when you start thinking about this stuff, yeah, I think it's just like the technology isn't there. Like, you even saw with Apple, right? Like, they had to kind of, you know, take in that headset back because it just wasn't getting the you know, reception they thought it would. And so I think like that's kind of where we're at. Like, technology hasn't caught up with like this kind of rate of development, and similar to how Bitcoin was back in the day, you know, similar to how the internet was before then. Like, digital collectibles and all this stuff is going to be immense. You're you know, my kid in 10 years would rather probably play with a hologram of something that does 100 times more things than her little gadget that she holds in her hand and it does one function. It's like, no, like, let me blow this up in my hologram, let me move around like Spider-Man, let me do all this cool stuff. And that's where people are going to start like, oh, you know, operating more in that realm. So again, that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's what my thinking is.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Cheers to that.
Cheers, bro. Cheers to our water. Look at the healthiness of our
I don't even see it. One's right in the background.
Wow.
Oh, I don't have any water. I, for some reason, had this Listerine Cool Mint thing next to me.
Whoa.
Guys, it's not even open, so I guess my breath's not that bad.
Well, we know you love sealed collectibles, Sean. You're never gonna know.
Right on the shelf.
I thought you were gonna be like, this is the first Listerine bottle that came out here in California back in 1963. Like, you know.
You know, and even going back to talking about the total editions, you know, and even if there are a lot of editions for popular items, it always kind of comes down to, you know, even special mint numbers. I'm so excited to see how those continue to thrive and crush. People are really excited about mint numbers, and all various types too. You know, with palindromes, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 420. You know, all those numbers mean something to someone, and some people collect certain numbers that people aren't even aware of. Which is why I'm really hoping for, in the near future at least, having an opportunity to make offers on the app.
Yeah, on specific collectible numbers.
Absolutely. Yeah, being able to search for collectibles that aren't even listed, like that's going to be a really big deal. Maybe even offering OMI. Hopefully, Stacker can offer that kind of, you know, opportunity. That can
I
be
think
really
they will.
I think so too.
Hopefully, they're not too far off. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys make some incredible insight on that, because when there was such a high concentrations of users on VeVe, you notice that those little details mattered 10 times more than they do now, because there's just so much more collectibles to choose from. But when we had, let's say, you know, tens of thousands of people focused on one certain collectible, which we saw with like Walt, people would literally trade down and up. Like, they would go from a 500 edition number Walt to like a 320 and literally pay an extra $1,000 just to move down.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember somebody like, I'm not, like, legit, like they'll sell it off for whatever it was, 21,000, and then they go buy one for like 24 or something that was just slightly better. And again, I mean, that time was also like, you know, almost like unicorn fart test, like where it was just everything was happening. It was so magical. But I do think that distinction will continue as these become more popular.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And also it comes down to the demand as well, right? That's also something that's really important. And when the demand increases, you're going to start to see that come back. People are starting to put a lot. People still put a lot of value like on sub 100 mints, but it's not like what it was during the bull run. But I fully believe that it could come back depending on the demand. That's really what it comes down to, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the hard part too is like, because there's so many more collectibles now, not only on the VeVe but in the digital space, the demand, even if you had like 4 times the amount of users than then, you would almost need like 8 times just to increase the actual demand, because it's like there's just so much more items now too, right? Like, so it's just, that's interesting. And that's where I think once the knowledge about like what's most important comes back in, that's when people are going to be really selective. And I don't know, I think that's kind of the key in all this.
Yeah, 100%. And Grandison makes an interesting comment. A guy really wanted a 700 mint Imperial Guard, I think Imperial Guard. I got it on the drop for $275 when the floor was like $65.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Like Kevin, does that have any significance in Star Wars?
As far as I know, not really.
Interesting.
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. So like we mentioned earlier, there's certain mint numbers that mean something to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people just floor those without realizing there's value on it.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you doing this, Jad, this top 10 Grail list, because I've been thinking about that in the back of my head and just keep needing to circle back. And we've been talking about it internally, and I'm glad that you put this out there to talk about.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I would almost prefer it like coming from you guys. I just feel like it might be even more refined and just a little more rigorous. Like I'd like to do it again. It was more just like to see what was going on, but it would be interesting to have like just a better representative sample size, like 1,000 plus or something. And just I put in more opportunities, like more collectibles to kind of tick off and then see what people think. And then I also had like I couldn't account for people that might have done multiple entries because I had to put in their email. And these crypto people, they all like to stay anonymous, so
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see the continued utility for the VeVe Gold logo. They've been very passionate about continuing to add utility to the VeVe Gold logo at in-person events, even online. People who haven't had a chance to get involved in person, there's been opportunities to craft for tickets. I mean, like the golden ticket for the New York Comic Con event. Even if you couldn't go, you could craft a ticket for free and sell it. The floor right now is for $500. Yeah, people sold it to and some even higher. I think recently the number one mint of that collectible sold for a few thousand.
Oh wow. Cool.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see that, to give that opportunity to people, both online and also in person. And I think it's only going to continue to evolve for sure.
Yeah.
Chad, have you been getting involved in any of the evolvables drops that have happened?
You know what? They are cool. I'm just so lazy for them because it requires this whole thinking.
It requires a lot. It's like every day you got to do something.
Yeah, like my brain is just, I'm just like, okay, like I've got to make dinner for the kiddo, and like, my wife catches me like, like trying to evolve something. She's like, okay, like listen, like she's gonna have a life talk with me. So I think it's cool. I just haven't had the time to just sit there and like get into it,
Yeah.
But I think it's a great opportunity. Like I think it's amazing that especially if you craft something like a secret rare, like all of a sudden now you're very few people have it now, right? So it's pretty awesome. Yeah
Definitely. It's definitely still a work in progress. We've seen some glitches still, and I really hope that gets figured out, because that's the only reason why I'm kind of like, it's kind of hard to continue getting involved in it when it says like I craft something and then it doesn't really work.
Yeah,
Spencer's been very lucky. Spencer's been
might have worked. Yeah,
yours worked great.
But yeah.
I do
have issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna get better. I know it's gonna get better. I'd love to see maybe a wait list for that, for crafting. Kind of similar to the drop.
Yeah,
just keep it the same. I'm not sure if the mechanics or internally might be hard to structure it that way. I'm not really sure how it works, but hopefully we can see that change. That'd be really, really cool. But I think the concept's amazing. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see that kind of opportunity. And then also the chasers. The chaser aspect is so sick. I love that so much. They do that with the commons specifically because you're giving people increased opportunity to go after something that's really valuable. And then on top of that, you can also upgrade it, continually upgrade it over time to a secret rare, which is really fun. So yeah. The chasing aspect is something that I was really hoping to see for some time, and they finally implemented that. We see that with sports cards. It's crazy with sports cards, man. All the breakers that are opening packs on Instagram. Do you watch any of those guys, like the backyard break guys?
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. And it's super fun to see people land stuff. People just are walk into a shop and they just buy something and they post a photo about it. It's fun, like little kids that are doing stuff.
I'm such a bad guy though. I actually bought 8 cases of the Pokemon Surging Sparks. I don't know if you heard about that whole
8 cases.
8 cases because I knew it was like in Canadian, right? We spend more here, but it was $977 Canadian a case, and then the guy said if you buy X amount from me, he's like I can get you down to like $850. And so I was like, shit, I'll just buy the 8, and like because I knew I was going to make my money back, but it just timed it perfectly with the and it's pretty much almost like a double right now, like just under a double for, I always have to factor in Canadian versus American dollars, like, and we're getting, I don't know if you've seen the comparison right now, but we're going down further and further. Like, I think our dollar now is something like under 70 cents of what your $1 is.
Well, good for us, not great for you. So
Exactly.
I have a feeling we're not going to be far along, brother.
Yeah. Well, you're just gonna have to come visit now in Canada, right? And you guys could just flash your cash here,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll take Canadian dollars any day of the week. It's like a rainbow, man. I love the Canadian money. It's so cool looking.
Yeah, it is nice.
You can't rip it.
Yeah, it's really hard to.
It really
gotta,
Oh yeah, it is.
You can't. You can't. Like, you can. Yeah. I one time tested it with just scissors because it was driving me nuts. I didn't know how that worked. Like,
yeah, it definitely still cuts.
I was like, maybe that was a stupid idea. Like, of course, it's still like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun to see the chase aspect. Going back to the chasing aspect, it's super fun, especially the like the Lord of the Rings packs that came out. They had the one card, the one of one card that everyone was going after, and
that was right beside me. That was literally in my hometown. It was in Whitby, Ontario, which is like a small town of like, I don't know, it's like maybe like 100,000 people, in about 45 minutes away from Toronto. And I literally was like, it's a 5-minute drive from my house.
Jeez.
And the guy won it right there. And that bothers me because I literally would go in that shop like once a month. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, you went to that shop.
Yeah.
I was like a local. Like, the guy knew me by name and everything. So I was so mad when that happened.
Did you talk to him afterwards? Have you seen him since?
I was so mad. I didn't even go in there shop.
You haven't been there since. It's been like a year.
God loves me. Like, why didn't he give me this? Like, like.
No. I'm buying my stuff off eBay now.
yeah, exactly. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, super crazy. Actually, I will say though that the outcome was actually quite beautiful because the guy who ended up getting it, he worked at Costco and he ended up selling the card to Post Malone, I'm sure, as you know. And it was so cool to see Post Malone, who's a huge Magic the Gathering fan. He actually bought a Black Lotus for, I think it was like 800,000 or around $1 million. Yeah. Black Lotus card. Mm-hmm. And he's just such a huge fan. And he probably could have got more for it. I think there were bounties that were higher, but he wanted to give it back to somebody who actually really appreciated it as a fan. And Post Malone was that guy, and he met him in person. And then Post Malone, this is the coolest part about Post Malone. That guy's a legend. He went around and talked about selling the card. He was on Joe Rogan, and everyone kind of just asking him questions, but he would always flip it and go back to the guy who sold it to him. He was always hyper-focused on the guy who actually got the card. And I thought that was pretty cool. And he was just saying how awesome that guy is and how they stay in touch now. How cool is that? Like,
yeah.
You had $2 million for Post Malone, and now you're buds. Like, not bad.
It's probably still kind of
Post Malone's buying your friendship.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's funny. He's probably like opening packs and still trying to scam Malone. He's like, man, what would you do this one for $100K? He's like, that's worth $300. Like, that's funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry, I'm just bitter because, of course, the guy stole my card, So
I remember when that happened, you saying that was right near your place. I didn't realize that's a shop you actually been to multiple times.
Yeah, like, it wasn't like, oh, it was in Toronto. Like, it was like, no, this is like down the street. Like, there's, put it this way, there's over 16 million people in Ontario, right? And it happened, it's the biggest province in Canada, representing like 40 plus million. So just like to think that happened right here. Yeah. It's just annoying. Yeah.
I'm annoyed for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Don't worry, Chad. We'll find our next unicorn fart dust token.
Yeah. I need it.
So thank you everybody for waiting so patiently. We're going to get to your questions, and then we're going to give away a digital collectible from VeVe. So make sure to stick with us a little bit longer, and we're going to give that away. So if you're watching, you have a chance to win a digital collectible. So we'll start with Slider. What has been your best drop you landed on VeVe or another platform, and why? So I wonder if he's – so Slider, if you're still here, if you can clarify that, I think you mean what's been your favorite drop and why? Or if you're asking like what's been our favorite, I guess we can answer both questions.
I mean, like best is I think it could be like most valuable, or it could be just your favorite. I think it could be either. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll start with Chad. Chad, what's been your favorite drop, and what's your best drop? We'll just do both.
Yeah. So I think like my favorite drop. Well, put it this way. Like I think I'll go back to just when I first joined the app when Todd was still like available, and the store, and like I remember going to sleep with like Todd's in the store. You know what I mean? And like my brother looked at me one time and he's like, we started talking about its significance, and we're like, this could probably hit over 10,000. And he's like, imagine if we bought 100. He's like, that's $1 million, And I was like, yeah. And we both kind of had this thought, and I ended up still buying a lot, but not even close to that. And so to this day, I just kind of thought when when that started to really pick up, the nostalgia from that was pretty epic. In terms of like my favorite drop, I think the Miles Morales was a big one. I obviously didn't land anything. I had to buy it in the aftermarket, but just the detail and the texture and everything like that. And I think another big one was just like Walt and Mickey.
Yeah,
something about that was just so magical. Like I couldn't believe that like Disney was a digital collectible, and the detail was so precise, and the magnificence and the historical component of that was just, it was almost too big to imagine. Like I'm like, am I really one of these people that have this right now? Like I don't know. So those are probably like the ones that are most that stick out to me the most.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember that drop, man, when they announced Disney. Actually, that was probably one of the most watched videos too. When we talk about golden moments.
Yeah.
It was super cool to talk to like Danny, and Danny was saying he watched that video and he's like, I'm all in on the golden moments now because of that video, which meant a lot to us because you understood the IP and the value and the significance. And I think that set still is probably the most significant set on VeVe by far. You're looking at all those first appearances of massive characters, and it's so fun. It's so fun, and that partner statue is unbelievably special, more than I think people realize, especially considering how important Walt Disney is to the Disney brand and how sensitive they are, and for them to trust Disney with that is a huge deal. And I'll say it again and again on every stream how big of a deal that was, and very fun. Yeah, I didn't get lucky. I didn't get lucky at all. I actually, and I remember it was me and Kevin. We were driving to DesignerCon. Mm-hmm. We were driving to DesignerCon to see the fam, and we pulled over at a gas station. And our friend, we pulled up the trunk, put all of our phones down, and it was the tap days, right? There's no waitlist drop.
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, nothing, ding it. And then Oscar's like, got one, our buddy Oscar, which he still has to this day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, Sean was pretty salty about that.
Oh, I was super salty, dude. I was super happy for Oscar, but salty I didn't get.
Yeah.
But, I was able to get one in the market, considerably pretty cheap at the time. I was able to pick up another one from my mom. I gave it to her for Christmas, which was really cool. Yeah. That was an awesome moment. Kevin was there for that too. That was a special moment, dude. Yeah.
I made a little video for that reveal.
That was fun, dude. Yeah, she had no idea. Yeah, it was great. And she actually collects on the app very much like your mom, Chad. She collected on the app for quite some time. Yeah, she circles back here and there.
She gonna go for Bambi?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think so. Actually, I think so. Yeah, I think so. We might do a circle drop with the fam. That came out pretty weird. Kevin, you're up next.
In terms of,
I don't think we can let that one slide.
Kevin, what about you?
In terms of the best drop I've landed, it's actually going to be on the drop platform with the Funkos recently.
Dude,
I landed so many of the Always Sunny in Philadelphia Funkos. Mm-hmm. I got five of the actual redeemable ones for the physical copies.
So Kevin, give some context to everybody who doesn't know what that is.
So on drop, Funko releases a bunch of digital Funko cards. You open packs and you get a bunch of cards, but there are certain rarities and certain tiers that have a special redeemable one where when you redeem it, you actually get the physical version of that Funko as well. So I landed 5 of them on like 2 or 3 packs.
That one pack you had was
Yeah.
unreal.
Unreal.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that's the best I've ever done on a drop. But in terms of my favorite drop, I think to this day, even with because I think of all the weird stuff that happened in the early days, the DeLorean is still one of my favorite drops.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I don't know if I got it. Did I get it? It was like an hour later when I found out. I was in the middle of work and we were all excited. And we were playing with it. And I don't know. It will always be one of my favorite drops for some reason.
Yeah. I think probably for me, favorite probably is the original Spider-Man drop, partially because like landing the drop was sick, but also just like that's like the start of our channel. And like when we originally started the podcast, like we were on this road trip up to Yellowstone, and we were like in this like tiny little town in Montana with like no internet connection, and we so it's just like a really, really good memory around that drop. So that's probably my favorite. My best, most valuable might be Superman #1, maybe.
I was gonna say. I hope he brings that up.
The Lego. I think that's probably. I think that's it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you brought that up, Spencer, because that road trip was actually the road trip where we decided to create this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I just said that.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't hear that part.
Sean doesn't listen to anyone, by the way. You've never noticed that? He just repeats the same thing.
I walked out for a quick second. You probably didn't see me gone, but yeah.
Completely useless.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. No, that was such a fun memory for sure. That was a blast, man. That was really cool.
It sure was. Thanks, Spencer, for sharing that.
Thanks. Yeah, Spencer, that was awesome.
Yeah.
There we go. I was trying to...
That's cool. Yeah, we had to move on pretty quick. Hella weird. Yeah, see, I told you. Damn it, Sean.
Oh, I'm dying. Oh, God. Actually, I wanted to show everybody this. So these.
Not the circle. We don't want to see it.
So
your family out of this show.
Yeah, leave all of us out of this. Chad's innocent. He doesn't disagree.
We're used to it at least.
The Funko drop, they partner with Drop, right? So it's Funko drop on wax. And the wax Funko drops we're referring to. The original one was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we've talked about that one for some time. And Kevin we did a live break, and it was the most unbelievable. Yeah. Oh my gosh. He landed like 3 physicals in one pack, including the Grail. And if you're an Always Sunny fan, it's Conspiracy Charlie, which is really cool. So one of my luckiest drops, I actually got in the Back to the Future, same thing. And I actually got 2 physicals that are for free. Nice. And it's Back to the Future. So George McFly and Lorraine Baines. And they're Funko Pops. And I got them graded by VGA, the Collectible Grading Authority. And they both came back, and I got them uncirculated because I never took them out of the box.
Oh, nice.
Came back high grades, yeah. And they're also limited. So on there, it says there's only 1,900 of them produced.
Wow.
Each one. Yeah, and the Grails have less than 1,000. But what's really cool is the second I got both of them, I'm like, I'm giving these to my parents for Christmas, and I just got them in a week ago. So my dad's going to get the dad, and my mom's going to get the mom.
Nice.
Because Back to the Future is their favorite.
If they're watching, they're not going to be surprised.
No, they don't watch this. It's all right.
I'm going to watch the moment this ends. So we watch the live stream.
I'm going to send you the video with this very specific timestamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Spencer. Yeah, I think the Spider-Man, when I was going to mention that, and I'm glad that you did. For me, man, I think that Fantastic Four won. Because I had a chance to buy that physical.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that was a big one for you.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a chance to buy physical for that, and I bailed out. I was able to get like a 5.0 grade for like $5,000 or something, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And I always regretted it. So when the drop happened, I was able to get like 10 or 12. When at the time you're able to acquire multiples.
Yeah.
I didn't get any secret rares, but one popped up on the market. It was a 3-digit. I was able to pop that up on the market, and I was so stoked to get that. So yeah, that was a really cool one for sure. Yeah, and then actually flipping it over to Candy Digital, the Detective Comics 31 drop that happened recently.
Yeah,
I mean that's a top 3 Batman comic of all time.
Yeah.
and everyone who got involved in it had a chance to max min it, you know, and the packs which you can sell unopened on Candy, you could now resell that for like $70, $80, and they're $20 packs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those
I
are
landed 3 epics on that drop.
you did, dude. It was like epic. I was like, this is crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. And it was a very low edition run too. It was only 3,000 editions, and the epic is only 100.
Yeah.
Or 200. Sorry, 200
editions.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a very cool comic. And again, guys, I gotta stress, December 26th, definitely go for Flash Comics #1.
Mm-hmm.
I will say they'll probably crack the top 10, if not higher. You know.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a fun one for sure. LJ, what's up, LJ? Thanks for joining. Another VHS question: what are the plastic sleeve protectors y'all use for VHS tapes, and where can I buy them? Let's see. There you go. So these ones right here, again, it depends on the type of VHS that you have. So I have 2 examples here. Here's one of Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. It's a double VHS tape, still sealed. This is an Academy screener, and it's signed by almost the entire cast.
Yeah.
Had a chance to meet a lot of the hobbits in person. It was pretty cool. And this one is let's see, you have to get a double VHS protector case for it. So you have to know what kind of VHS you have. If you have a single slip cover like this, you know, they're basically standard protective sleeves you can get on eBay. eBay is basically where I go. Just figure out the best value and total how many you need. But they're fantastic. They protect your VHS very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are great. Very cool.
Yeah, I think you just like they're just called VHS protectors, right?
Yeah, just type in
That's
VHS
what the research for.
Yeah, plastic protectors.
Yeah.
You can go on eBay, and you'll be able to get them. Yeah, there's quite a few companies that sell them, and just find the one that has the best value, you know, per cover.
Yeah.
Chad, have you jumped in the VHS market yet?
Man, I haven't, dude. I mean, I really appreciated and admired it. I just think there's so many markets to jump into, and
Yeah.
like I think it's just you get into your niches because you know what it is. You need actually knowledge and time to be good at like making a choice, right? Like you can't just make a decision based off because someone's like, hey, this is like because it just takes time. So for me, it's like Pokemon NFTs is kind of like where I sit, you know.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very smart and healthy perspective. You know, it's important to put the time in when you're looking to invest in something. You just got to put the time in and understand what it is you're buying into. It's plain and simple.
Even in stocks or even in like coins, the same thing. Like if I understand the landscape well, I always do better than if I'm like just joining like the DeFi market and I'm like, oh, this seems cool. Like it's, you know what I mean? I've done that before and I get burnt. So yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally agree. Ben Rose, thanks for joining. Thundercats comic equals the new Grail. Yeah, so that comic sold out. Sold out pretty quickly. Only 1,000 editions of Thundercats #1, and that's doing very well on VeVe for sure. Yeah, that's a very cool comic.
Thundercats. Oh!
Now Chad is catching up with some of the comments. Now Chad is boycotting Costco also. I think we're referring back to the Pokemon cards.
Yeah, exactly. With the Lord of the Rings card, the 1-of-1, because the guy worked at Costco. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was.
Not anymore.
Again, Sean doesn't listen. He doesn't pay attention.
Yeah, context is terrible for me. I'm terrible.
Really doesn't matter.
It's hard to host and talk, and I know I've done it. You know,
It's true.
it's also cool. Ben Rose is just always chilling. Always coming in and like I always see him everywhere.
Yeah, he's so awesome. He's so awesome.
Bro,
Comey, what's up,
bro? What's up, brother?
Yeah, good having you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, so good to see you.
Man, we did a podcast together, and it's like maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago. Like it was almost a year ago now, but like,
wow,
just cool. You know, it's every time I see his name, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, it was a good time.
Yeah. My collectibles. Hey, bud.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Legendary things. Thanks, my collectibles.
That's awesome. Strange. What's up, Dr. Strange?
Hey, what's up?
Circle time.
Bringing up Sean circle time.
No.
Nice, Granison.
What do we call it though? Do we call it that? The circle drops? No, we're not. No.
What?
I thought we called it that. Like when everyone gets it, drop circle. The drop circle. It's a
Is
drop
that
circle.
what you were trying to talk about?
I was
dear
trying to say
God?
drop
We
circle.
were all like,
I'm glad that we clarified that live, and I don't have to sleep with that at night.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to sleep with that for a long time. It
But
may come
Stacy
up
has
next
to.
week.
Poor Stacy.
Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
she has to deal with all of his circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely been exciting getting involved in the VHS market and just other collectibles, but it takes up a lot of room, which kind of goes back to why we love these digital collectibles.
Yeah. This is one that I had at my house, and to be honest, I totally forgot that I have like back up like my house, like my parents' house.
Okay.
A lot of stuff shipped there, just like I'm traveling all the time. I don't always have room to have everything, but this is
Wet Hot American Summer. Oh, it's a
Oh, that's
screening
hilarious.
copy.
Screening
That
copy.
is so cool.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
In one of the fancy plastic cases. I need to get this one graded at some point. But yeah, this is also Paul Rudd's first movie.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Yeah.
and I know
That's
you like
something-
first appearances. This is a first appearance right here.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
rare variant first appearance. Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
Nobody's thinking like this right now, too, which I love.
Nope.
Yeah,
we've been talking about that for the past year or
I know
two.
you guys have. So
And,
smart.
first appearance of actors in films. If the VHS market takes off in the way that we believe it will, people are going to continue to differentiate value, and I think that first appearances of actors are going to be a pretty big deal.
Leonardo DiCaprio's
Yeah,
first
and then you Critters
Did
3.
you say first appearance of
Wow.
Leonardo DiCaprio on there?
on the
The label?
yes, it does. On the
Oh,
label.
show it. Yeah, show that.
Yeah.
It says
see.
first appearance.
There it
There
is.
it is.
First
First
appearance.
Wow.
appearance, Leonardo. Yeah.
That is so
It's really
cool.
cool
I
that
love that.
Rewind does that.
So that's how we got connected to Rewind in the first place, because they put a lot of research into first appearances of actors in films, and they started doing that for a selective amount of actors, including Leonardo DiCaprio in Critters 3. And it's interesting because Critters 3 sells for a premium, a really high premium for the VHS tapes that are sealed. And you think, okay, well, why Critters 3? What about Critters 1, the first movie, or Critters 2? But Critters 3, way more valuable than any of the other films, and it's because it's Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a sealed screener of it that popped up at one point. I didn't jump on it, and I'm really disappointed that I
I
didn't.
know.
Yeah.
So what are we talking for like value right there? Like if you don't mind me asking, like what like is that a few dollars or like hundreds?
For which one?
For just in general, like let's say like that Leonardo DiCaprio one, like if you were to get that, like
I mean,
a screener.
this tape, I don't know. I can maybe sell for maybe a couple hundred right now. I mean, this is also not like a first print tape. This is like kind of like a later print to like advertise that Leonardo DiCaprio was in
Still
it.
though, yeah.
So it's like this one specifically is probably not as valuable. But and also just I think it hurts it a little bit. The film itself is not like a popular film, whereas like other first appearances, which are like actually like well-known popular films, I think will have a bigger impact than some of these other ones. But it's also Leo, so
Yeah.
Right.
I love
But
Critters.
imagine like Leo's first appearance was like the Titanic as an example. Like
Sure.
who knows what the price
Yeah.
point of that would be,
yeah,
right?
that would definitely change things. It's
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the most expensive like film? Like what are we talking here? Like top two, top
I mean,
three.
like Back to the Future sells really well.
So Chad, there are only probably 10 known sealed first prints of Back to the Future in the world right now. And I've talked to all the grading companies. I've talked to huge whale collectors in the VHS market, and they all have collectively said probably about 10.
Yeah,
based on the
that's
conversation with
ridiculous.
people. I mean, and there's definitely going to be more popping up in the future. I totally presume there'll be more. But at least
Yeah.
right now in this market, there's only 10, and we are actually lucky enough to have one. Uh-oh.
Wow.
I don't want anything knocking over.
Uh-oh.
This
I'll
is
say,
not,
Oh, I got scared.
Yeah,
Like
I
I was
don't-
not expecting.
not very graceful.
Uh-oh.
It's not graceful, guys.
Uh-oh. I
Holy
forgot I
crap.
gave
All
that
right,
away.
I got it. I got it. All right.
Well, it's not
So
in
this
a
is-
grading case anymore, so it makes me
No.
nervous.
I
So
know.
this is it's
My
a first
God.
print of Back to the Future, and we actually cracked it out of the CGC case. It was graded at 9.4.
Mhm.
Wow.
And we cracked it out of the case to get it signed by Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can tell it's a first print because of the wraparound watermarks right here.
No, the
The
offset
wraparound-
wraparound. Yeah.
Yeah, the wraparound watermarks, and also it says 1986 in the bottom.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's still entirely sealed, which is pretty remarkable.
Damn.
And this is one of only 2 signed copies that I know of in the world. I mean, there's only 10. The other one that we got signed was actually for a friend.
Mhm.
And the first time we went to the signing, it was pretty chaotic.
Mhm.
I mean, people
Yeah.
that worked there were yelling and screaming, "Get your collectibles out!"
Yeah.
And I had to step aside and say we had like 30 tapes to get signed by him, and it's just like an assembly line. It's not like a meet and greet with Michael J. Fox,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And I took the guy aside. I'm like, dude, this one tape is probably worth 50 grand. Can you please just like take a deep breath and just like work with me here? I paid a lot of money to have these signed, and I just come on, you're killing me here.
Mhm.
But fortunately, everything worked out, and it was a good experience in the end. We had a chance to meet him again at LA Comic Con, and that was a much healthier experience for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that was way.
really fun. That was really fun. Yeah, but it's really fun to see these tapes and to see what people put value on, what they're excited about. First prints are kind of tough to really gauge in the 80s. It's different types of watermarks.
Mhm.
And you have to put, like you said, Chad, you got to put a lot of research and time to understand what this
There's
is.
there's not much public information out there on this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems
Well, a lot
like
of the stuff that we've learned, like literally, has just been like conversations we've had with people that have done the research and figured it out themselves somehow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
right. The people that make it are the ones doing the things that you guys are doing before it actually becomes like a thing. It's kind of remind me of the digital collectible space. Like even with VeVe, like people weren't buying that. They were $80 for a Batman, and now it's like, it's the opposite, right? So I think like this to me seems like a huge future. Especially as these things become harder and harder to find, and people take less and less care of it. It makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a big reason why we're very bullish on promo screeners, like the ones that Spencer showed.
Mhm.
Promo screeners that were sent directly to VHS shops from distributors, because they're basically rare variants that were given out to retail shops or distributors before the first commercial release.
Mhm.
Wow.
And they were much scarcer.
It was like a sales tool. Like generally speaking, the back like has like these are the box office numbers. These are like the big actors on it. This is how they've sold in the past, and it's basically it's like an advertisement to convince the VHS store to basically buy the tapes and stock them on their shelves.
That's amazing.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
Oh
And
man.
then you look at like Academy screeners, which are even more scarce because those were sent directly to Academy voters for voting. And back then, especially in the early 2000s, having a chance to watch like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King at home was pretty remarkable. No one's going to pass that up. They opened that up right away.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually. We went on. I was curious because we had our own data over the research for the past couple of years, like considering how many Academy voters there are, how many could potentially have been produced. And I actually asked ChatGPT a lot of detailed questions, and it actually gave us pretty accurate numbers to what we had in our data, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. Like this one, for example, like the Academy screener for Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Like this one, we look at like popularity, pop culture relevance. And this is one of the most celebrated films of all time.
Right.
And there were probably about 5,000 produced, and there's probably less than a couple hundred still sealed today at most.
Damn.
We've been lucky enough to get a couple and then get some signed as well from a lot of the it's pretty wild. It's been a fun journey for sure. Going in there and meeting John Rice Davies and Andy Serkis and all the hobbits and Sean Astin. Yeah, it was fun.
I just keep laughing because these poor actors are just like the hobbits.
You keep saying just the hobbits.
Look, guys, it's Hobbit 6. Like it's just so funny, I love that. It reminded me when I used to work at a restaurant. It was the funniest thing and the meanest thing, but it is still funny to this day. Is like I was a bartender, and like one of my colleagues would like leave, and instead of saying nice to like or saying bye to people, he would say night dish, right? And then the dishwashing guys would be out till like 3-4 a.m. But like he didn't even acknowledge them by their names. It's just like dish. And it was so mean. But I would like laugh and then be like, dude, you gotta like call these people by their name. So I just feel for these guys because even though they're millionaires, like it'd be so funny because I bet you majority of times you'd be like, oh, it's a Hobbit, like it's Frodo, you know what I mean? And the poor guy's like, dude, like
have a real name.
Yeah. Ironically, we do know all the real names. We are actually big fans. That's the irony. We did not call Elijah Wood a Hobbit in person. I promise you that.
No, I agree. I appreciate
Hobbit number one.
Hobbit number one, how are you? Hobbit number two, how are you?
Actually, it was really cool. I had this one over here. This is,
Sorry, I just think it's so awesome.
So I had this blockbuster DVD of Return of the King, and actually Elijah Wood signed it.
No way, man.
He freaked out when he saw it. He's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And he was taking photos of it on his phone. It was pretty cool.
Wow. How big is he? Is he like actually like a legit size?
Yeah.
Or...
How big?
As a person?
No,
he's like my height.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if he was like a legitimate like.
I was like, oh, he's massive. I was like, what?
I thought you meant in terms of popularity, like his name.
No, like I just meant like height wise, because like he's this small guy in the movie, right? So it's like
yeah.
It's just amazing how they can do that. It's like Tom Cruise or like Rocky. They make them look huge, right? And they're 5'7" too. Right? I thought Rocky was like 6'2" in all the movies. No, he's 5'7" too.
You got to watch if you haven't done it. And if you're anyone out there, if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, watch the behind the scenes. It's like a 10-hour journey, but it is one of the most amazing journeys you'll ever have in terms of understanding how films are made.
Yeah.
And just appreciating the level of complexity that what they did. I mean, Kevin, you know all the details about it, but one of the things that people don't really, and I didn't even know at the time, they actually were using VR technology on sets.
Yeah.
Wow. Kevin, you want to take over.
Yeah. Because that was like the first time where they really took, because like pre-visualization was usually just sketches and storyboards, and they realized that they could take this new CGI technology and put that into like a real space, walk around in it, and see where their camera angles are going to be. And they even show that in the behind the scenes when they're doing the fight in the graveyard, not the graveyard, when the big troll thing. They showed how like they were sitting there figuring out the camera angles, and then later on set they recreated those exact movements and moments and stuff like that. Wow. But the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes, for anybody who doesn't understand what it takes to make movies, that is one of the best ways of understanding. This is what it takes. It takes an army. It takes so many people doing so many things to make something this good.
Right. And flawless communication.
Yeah.
I mean, also, you get to hear really fun behind the scenes stories that you would never know unless you meet them in person. Right. Like, I mean, Viggo Mortensen talked about how he and I think it was him and it was Orlando Bloom and John Rice Davies when they were running across the mountains, like early in the morning. So they had to camp out for that shot, and it was just the three of them running across the mountain when they're running, I think, after the first film.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other actors and some of the crew, they had the day off the next day because that's all they were filming. And they said, "Oh, you're going to camp out there?" And they said, "Yeah. Well, can we come too?" And it turned into this big party, and they were out late drinking till like 4 a.m. and like hanging out till like 4 a.m. hanging out. Wow. And they got up like 2 hours later, and they just started, filming them running across the mountains. It's pretty amazing. And also the scene where I think it was the second film when they think the hobbits died.
Oh,
Viggo Mortensen actually kicks a helmet. He actually broke his foot.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
In that shot. And that's why when he screams, "Ah!" like that, it falls to his
just
knees.
Like that. Ah, like that.
Ah! He actually broke his foot in that shot.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Awesome.
Oh.
I heard about that, like a different movie, but like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django or something, when he like cracked the skull, his hand was actually bleeding, and it was like completely improvised. Yeah.
That shows the nature of his professionalism to continue that scene. Also, the actress who was involved in that knew, there's blood over my face. This is not in the scene, and she stayed with it. It went with it, and he was actually rubbing his own blood on her face.
Yeah.
I know.
It turns out that's not true.
Oh, it's not?
So when he slams, he continues, but they cut. When they cut, they cleaned him off, but then they put like fake blood.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm really glad I didn't spread rumors here.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
Sure.
Because I was like, this is so insane that she just, like, this whole time I was thinking, like, she really is into this character.
Oh, that's weird.
That makes me feel way better.
Big shout to Mr. Grip. People often underestimate the scale of productions, hundreds of people. It still trips me out.
Yeah.
And Mr. Grip was saying that he just was part of the production for Superman.
Yeah.
That's super awesome.
Yeah.
He was talking about earlier, we were mentioning Gremlins, a VHS tape that we purchased, and that one of his family members worked on it and controlled some of the animatronics. His uncle, super cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, guys, I think it's time to give away a collectible.
One more question here. Don't want Grandison to get missed here. What is my exit point for my Superman Legendary? I don't know. I don't. It would be so hard to sell it.
Yeah.
Definitely not 10K because that's what it was selling for when you got it.
Yeah, I know.
I'd say minimum 100, Spencer, in my opinion.
I know. I was gonna say like somewhere. It would have to be somewhere like the 50 to 100 range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about Superman and DC characters in general are significantly undervalued in terms of collectibles.
Yeah.
Especially the first appearance of DC Comics. I mean, DC owns the golden age.
Yeah.
And there are some massive grails on Candy Digital right now, especially that you can buy for a very reasonable price that I think have great upside long term. Again, not financial advice, never financial advice, guys, but we're seeing what James Gunn's doing in the DCU. I don't know if you guys have seen the Creature Commandos. Have you watched that? The animated show?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it tonight.
It is unbelievable. I watched episode 4 and I was destroyed. Like destroyed. Yeah, you got to watch it. It is insane. It's and what's really cool is that it actually it carries on from the live action. So they reference the live action Suicide Squad film, and they have a lot of the characters from the movie as animated characters. So it's just a continuation of the story.
Interesting.
Super cool. Yeah. And obviously Peacemaker was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I didn't know why they even made a Peacemaker show at the time. I thought John Cena was cool in Peacemaker, but I'm like, why are you making a show on this character?
Yeah.
And I couldn't. It's one of the few times I can say I've never been so excited to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
That show is not only one of my favorite shows of whatever year it came out, like 2 years ago, but it's also the best opening sequence of any show.
I usually skip the opening sequences. I watched it every single
I
time.
watched that one every time.
It's so enjoyable because you learn each character that comes in along the way. You have different, it's fun. It's so fun. Season 2 is coming out soon, and then of course, we saw the Superman trailer, which looks awesome. And James Gunn, man, I'm so excited for him and everything he's working on. But again, very undervalued. A lot of these comics get very undervalued. So, very exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So, question: if you want to win a VeVe digital collectible, what is the name of the character and mint number of the bounty that we're releasing for Bambi? I want to see the name and the mint number for the character for the bounty that we're releasing. That bounty is happening for the Bambi drop coming up. First one to answer wins a VeVe digital collectible donated by VeVe. Very generous, and a big shout to the VeVe team for doing this. So the first to answer, what is the character and also the mint number?
Yeah,
of our bounty. Yeah, got to see both.
I know it.
Yeah, we'll take that. Friend Owl. I'll take that. Slider, congratulations, bud.
Good job, Slider.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we'll take that.
Close, Jason.
Oh, yeah. Second. Congratulations, Slider. You won a VeVe digital collectible. It's going to be a mystery collectible, but we'll be in touch soon. Definitely shoot us a DM on Twitter, and we'll make sure to get your VeVe account name and get you your prize. Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
Congrats, dude.
Woo.
Chad, this has been fun, dude.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
it's always good to hang with you guys.
And everyone out there, if you aren't already, which I'm sure most of you are, make sure to follow Chad at NFT Pirates. The link's down in the details below, and also subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is absolutely fire. Make sure to subscribe. The link's down in the details below, guys. So make sure to give him a subscribe and follow on Twitter. And yeah, man, I can't wait to have you on again.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You guys got to come all on my show now.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Beautiful setup, but we'll have some good chats.
I love that. That sounds great. Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining. Really appreciate you all. And also make sure to get involved in the giveaways that we're running right now. We're giving away
a few of them.
Yeah, a few of them. We're giving away quite a few. So just go into down below the details. There's 3 giveaways we're doing right now, including an actual graded cassette of the Lion King, 9.6 grade, which is ridiculously high.
Good.
Yeah. And this is going to be mailed worldwide. So make sure to get involved in that by going down in the details below and clicking the link. Thanks again for joining, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.